The video clip you just watched was published on the Lizardmenink channel only a few months ago. It's part of a relatively small analog horror, yet packed with many disturbing events that unfold over 6 episodes. I'm not a big fan of this genre, but Obelisk really surprised me, so today I'd like to share with you what I managed to find in it. The first video on the channel is called Skibidi Toilet Analog Horror Animation, no matter how strange that might seem. It has a pretty simple plot that centers around an unknown operator exploring a place that feels like the typical haunted houses from Android horror games. At some point, he gets into a bathroom and comes face to face with a long-necked creature which starts chasing him. Since all the doors in this low-poly house are closed for some reason, the operator leaves it through the window, and that's where the video ends. As you can see, the quality of the graphics and animation can impress anyone's imagination, so it's not surprising that the Skibidi Toilet found footage gained huge popularity on YouTube. But seriously, it's known only on its creator's channel, and even there, it ranks second to last. Basically, the video is more of a skills test. It doesn't affect the plot of Obelisk, but I thought it would be fun to see where it all started. The next video on the channel was published several months later, and the wait was absolutely worth it. Obelisk, My New Friend, features footage from yet another unknown operator who is trying to show us his new friend living in his room's closet. At first, the creature seems shy, but then we can see a glimpse of its head hiding in the darkness. The operator looks inside the closet, but there's nobody there. In the next part of the video, we see the operator watching cartoons on TV, but then he gets distracted by strange noises coming from another part of the house. He informs us that his friend is here again and soon we'll be able to see him. As you can see, there's nobody on the stairs, but in the final moments of the video, we finally get to see what the creature from the closet looks like. The operator asks once more if we can see it, and that's where the first episode of Obelisk comes to an end. What I can say about this video is that it feels oddly cute, though unsettling at the same time. The monster certainly looks creepy, but it doesn't seem to try to attack the operator, but rather behaves in a curious manner. It's clear that the creator did a lot of high-quality work, especially compared to the first video. The house looks real, the animations feel natural, and the atmosphere keeps you in suspense from beginning to end. As for interesting details, I tried brightening some frames of the video, especially the scene with the stairs where we supposedly should see someone, but there's almost nothing there. Also, the operator is most likely a child, which is suggested by the toys scattered around the house, the late-night cartoon watching, and even his communication style in general. It's very possible that he thinks the creature in the closet is imaginary, since he keeps asking if we can see it or not. And before we find out what happens next, I'd like to ask you to subscribe to my channel and like this video if you enjoyed it. Thank you so much. The third video on the channel was published just a month after the previous one. It talks about what to do if unwanted guests try to break into your home. There are no animations or images here, except for slides with text, which is likely why this video turned out to be the least popular on the channel, ranking even below Skibidi Toilet. The only noteworthy detail is the 3D sound of a door opening at the very end, though since my room's door was on the other side, it didn't really affect me. It's believed that preventing home invasions is not part of the Obelisk series, and it's not even included in the playlist for this analog horror, but I think it's not that simple, and we'll come back to this topic later. The next episode is titled Obelisk, You're Almost Gone, where someone tall and apparently scary appears in a dark doorway as its face is hidden behind a censorship square. Then we're shown several photos in the found footage style, which is where the video ends. To be honest, there's not much to look at here. The animation is almost non-existent, and the graphics quality looks noticeably lower, especially compared to My New Friend. At the same time, the images with the monster are quite good, but there are only 3 of them in the entire video. As for interesting details, one viewer asked what it was all about, and the creator sent them a link to My New Friend, so it could be the same creature, though personally I didn't find them very similar. Anyway, 2 months later, a new episode is published on the channel, Obelisk, in Your Home. The main character wakes up late at night after hearing the cries of a child named Abby. He decides to check on her. Walking through a pretty big and dark house, the protagonist finds a child's bed, but it turns out to be empty. Stepping aside slightly, he notices a tall creature with an elongated white face standing in the doorway. As you can see, the visual style of the episode has changed again, now resembling old point-and-click adventure games. Despite this, it's very suspenseful, making you look closely at every new doorway. While it's one of the most story-filled videos, not much actually happens here, though there are still a few interesting moments. It's funny that the child's bed is in another part of the house, despite some kind of danger that makes the main character barricade his bedroom door with a chair. Maybe we'll find out the reason in another episode. At the end of the video, we learn that all the doors in the house were locked, and the protagonist has no idea how the creature managed to get inside. This text might be a reference to preventing home invasions, which offers some advice on protecting against such things, but that doesn't seem to be helping much. And before we move on to the next episode, I'd like to quickly ask you to subscribe to my channel and like this video. That would really help. The next episode in the series is titled Obelisk, The House with No Windows, and so far it's rightfully my favorite. Another unknown operator comes across a tall yellow house with no windows or doors and decides to explore it from the inside. Shortly thereafter, he manages to find a passage into something like a basement area covered by a wooden plank. Once inside, the main character has to crawl through sand and dirt until he eventually discovers a small hole in the ceiling that leads into the house. The weirdness begins right at the doorstep. In one of the rooms, he finds a table with chairs standing upside down on the ceiling. However, this doesn't impress the operator too much, because instead of jumping back into the hole and forgetting about the creepy yellow house forever, he simply walks into the hallway and continues to explore other rooms. All of this happens in almost complete silence. It feels like anything, or even anyone, could be waiting around every corner. At some point, the operator comes to a fork in the path and hesitates, looking around uncertainly. This is when he has his first encounter with the owner of this unsettling place. Deciding to go further down the corridor, he finds another room hidden behind glass doors. There is not much inside, just an easel and empty shelves, as well as a small wooden plaque that reads, "Be still and know that I'm God." Not finding this room particularly interesting, the operator continues exploring the strange house. At the end of another dark corridor, he stumbles upon a small space with a staircase leading into the ceiling. After wandering around a bit more, he walks out into a similar corridor with a door positioned near the ceiling. It seems that the staircase used to be right here. The video ends with shots of the creature's head in the doorway, accompanied by the text, "What are you? And I know your face." As you can see, this episode turned out very high quality and no less interesting, with events open to multiple interpretations. For example, the text at the end could belong either to the operator reviewing his footage or to the monster itself. If these are truly the creature's thoughts, then it means the unwanted intruder is actually the main character of the video, which is quite funny. Also, the monster's head in the doorway strongly resembles the head of our shy friend from the closet in My New Friend. Considering this and the text at the end, the protagonist could easily be that same child, only grown up. The episode's style reminds me of the movie Skinamarink, especially with its unsettling atmosphere and the unusual placement of things in the house. I also want to mention the excellent graphics and animations, which are really immersive and make you feel tense with every turn around a corner. It's no surprise that this video became the most popular on the channel, and many people found out about Obelisk through it. By the way, the obelisk itself as a structure makes its first appearance right here, next to the mysterious yellow house, before disappearing somewhere. The most recent episode, which brings us back to the events of In Your Home, was published 2 months later. Its protagonist explores some kind of cemetery, searching for something. Looking carefully around, he finds a child's bed, but what's inside is far from what one would expect. Then the shadow of the creature we already know appears, and the main character finds himself back where the previous video ended. Strange, childlike sounds distract him from his thoughts and make him return to his room. On the way, he meets the one who is keeping him here. In the final moments, the protagonist goes to sleep, only to wake up to someone trying to break down his door, and that's where the video ends. In this episode, the author returns to the point-and-click style, though this time it looks more polished and is complemented by good animation. There's not much else to say. We're given plenty of story again, but nothing is entirely clear yet. It seems like some creature is keeping a person trapped in their own home and tormenting them psychologically, much like in Skinamarink. But for now, that's just speculation, so we'll have to wait for the next episodes. And if Obelisk has intrigued you as much as it has me, you can subscribe to the author's channel using the link in the description below this video. I would be very happy if you subscribe to my channel too, especially if you want to see even more content like this. Thank you so much.